Racing on Saturday takes place out at Turffontein, where we've got a 9-race program, and race number 1 gets underway at 20 past 12 over 1160 meters. We are racing on the stand-side track, and joining me on the line is Alistair Cohen. Alistair, how are you doing?
Yeah, all good, thanks, Raheel. Obviously, this is Gold Cup Day Eve, the Saturday out at Turffontein. You don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. You don't want to overplay your hand and get a little bit too enthusiastic about what you see in front of me. But I mean, I've tipped a pick six. It's probably close to the smallest perm that I'll probably tip in a pick six. I remember a few months ago, you'll also recall, a few months ago there was a double header on a Saturday, Hollywoodbets Kenilworth and Turffontein. And the Turffontein card yielded, I think, about 80 winners in the Hollywoodbets Punters Challenge.
Yeah.
I think, although you don't want to be one of 80, you'd rather share with maybe 1 or 2 people so you can get a big payday. I think there'll be a lot of people getting stuck into the Hollywood Punters Challenge on the Saturday card at Turffontein, because dare I say, it looks quite straightforward.
Well, let's hear your selection in race number 1, Juvenile Plate, and here we've got scratching off number 5, Copper Cliff. So it's a field of just 7 runners that remain now, and number 1, Key News, along with number 4, Kia Kaha, tops the boards at 28 to 10, 33 to 10 Towers of Gold, 4 to 1 about Moonlight Trader, Taxi to the Moon, and then double figure odds about the bottom 2. Who's your top choice here?
One of the Tony Peter horses. I'll tell you what, when I first looked at the race, Raheel, I was most keen on Taxi to the Moon, because I always have a theory that those horses, those 2-year-olds that win on debut and then go down to Durban for feature races, tend not to produce. It just comes a bit too soon. They're totally wet behind the ears, and experience counts for a lot. But with that said, out of those second runs that come in KZN a grade 1 level in front of the big crowds against the best of your generation, your game seems to raise quite a lot. So although 11-13 and a quarter lengths behind Cosmic Speed looks okay in comparison to the field that he's running with, I think he'll step up big time from that run. But when you look a little bit deeper, stable jockey Calvin Habib's on number 1, Key News, who ran against older opposition last time, was well beaten by Bob's Your Uncle. So I don't know whether I'm overthinking that fact, or whether Calvin's had the choice, whether he's gone the wrong way, whether it's the fact that Samangu Kamalo has ties with Keystorm Investments, having ridden Bless My Stars to success so many times, and Let's Go Now for Sean Terry. Maybe that's a dynamic at play. I don't know. So to answer your question, at the end of race 1, I expect Tony Peter to be leading in the winner. I'm leaning towards the Kamalo run, number 3, Taxi to the Moon, over number 1, Key News. I'm not going to get too carried away with the fact that stable jockey's on number 1, Key News. I think there's something a little bit more there at play with Kamalo's association with the Keystorm Investments over the past. Maybe Calvin had a tough time splitting them, spoke to the owners, and Keystorm said, well, put some Unger on. He's ridden plenty winners for us before. That's my line of thinking, so I'm going to go with Taxi to the Moon from Key News in the opener.
3 from 1, race number 1. Moving along to race number 2, the start of the bipot. Juvenile Plate for fillies, 1160 meters the trip, and 12:55 is the off time. Market has got number 3, Pointer, at 13 to 10. Force 8 is at 14 to 10. Boston Buddy at 13 to 2, and then it's 8 to 1. And Better Baldo. Scratch is number 6, Iconic Winter. Field of 7 runners remain. Now, Pointer and Force 8, there's form between these two, because they both ran behind Rodeo Drive, who takes her place at Hollywoodbets Greyville on Sunday in the debutante grade 2, and there's 4 kgs in favor of Force 8. Is that going to be enough for Force 8 to turn the form around?
Well, there's more than just one form line, Raheel. There's another one going back to the 16th of June, where Pointer's got just under 2 lengths to turn around. And Pointer, I know, is 2 kilos better off for that run, but it's 2-0 to, well, it's 1-1. But if you adjust the weights, Force 8 on face value is probably a better horse than Pointer for now. I think Pointer's got something to come. Probably got a bit more beat on the bone, being a little bit more lightly raced. But there's no reason for me to suddenly turn around and say, right, Pointer's going to turn the tables in such a big way. When you go back to the run on the 30th of June, obviously Force 8 was, a length and a quarter behind Pointer. Comes in here 4 kilos better off. That's more than enough. You can see what's at play here as well, Raheel. 8 runners carded in this race, and Paul Matchett had accepted 3/4 of them. He's obviously taken 1 out. So I think there was an element of we need to get this run under the belt, because Force 8, or whoever it might be, but I anticipate it's Force 8, is doing very well. Get a win under the belt, get a few stakes, get a few horses out on the track, potentially get a few stakes for them as well, and maybe up their game game, running to better quality. To me, at all points, the number 1, Force 8 being quite a hard horse to beat, but I do respect number 3, Pointer. As far as the first leg of the bar pot is concerned, I actually think you can bank a one or the other, but Force 8's entrenched as my top selection.
That's horse number 1 at 14-10. Moving along to race number 3, 1:30 is the off time. It is a start of the place accumulator, and the distance is 1,000 meters. A maiden plate for fillies and mares. Favorite is number 5, Belisivar at 28-10. Number 8, Selenio Peninsula is at 3-1. Autumn Bar at 7-2. 9-2, Hey Hey Julia 6-1, and better bar those. Now, number 8 is Daughter of Vercingetorix, and this pedigree looks familiar. Is she related to Barbaresco?
She is related to Barbaresco. She's a half-sister to Barbaresco. I named her Selenio Peninsula. Can you believe that?
Look at you. Well done.
Yeah, Lawrence Burners tends to say, right, these horses need names. You're the commentator. What would you like to go with? I do a little bit of homework. Selenio Peninsula is obviously a wine-making region in Tuscany, which obviously links with Barbaresco and Negro Amaro, etc. Gavin Larena takes it right. The sad part is I actually don't know anything about the expectations, but what I can tell you is it looks like quite a shallow field. Hokaime Macy has her first run for Tony Peter. That's a half-sister to Almond C. I know she's had a couple of issues, hence she's been off for 166 days, so interesting to see her in her place. Autumn Var, I suppose, must have claimed. Belisivar has weak form lines, although she's run to Katiwe's Destiny and she's run to Pointer. You know, those were just stronger fields than where she ran nicely behind Gold Agents and 17 again. For me, those form lines are very, very shallow indeed. So I think if there's any support for number 8, Selenio Peninsula, I think if there's a bit of talk about her and if she goes down to the stop, in Barbaresco, when he started his career, was a bit of a nutcase, but he's obviously ironed out those issues. So hopefully this filly doesn't quite have the same tendencies at the start of her career. If everything looks to be in the right place, I'd venture to say that the first timer will win. But if there's no real action in the market, then I suppose we will need to consider numbers 3 and 5. But I'm expecting it won't take Selenio Peninsula to be 70% as good as her half-brother to win.
Yeah, she's a filly that is priced up at 3-1, and we need to follow the market very carefully with regards to whether she shortens or she drifts out come closer to race time, which is 1:30. Race number 4 next up. Race 4 will be the start of the pick 6, and the off time is 2:05. Distance 1,000 meters. Maiden plate. Favorite Secret Chord at 13-10, Inspector James at 15-10, King Harry at 4-1, and then it is 16-1 and better bar those. Now, Secret Chord has been off the track for some time, but he was knocking on the door prior to that layoff, and it's going to be interesting to see how he goes. And then Johan Janssen van Vuren has got number 9, Inspector James, son of Water Winter. Gavin Larena takes stride. Any word on this horse?
No word, and I didn't name Inspector James either, so I can't take any credit for that by What a Winter out of Amatori. But again, the same comment applies. It won't take much for Inspector James to win this race. Obviously, being the first leg of the pick 6, you got the advantage of the pick 6 rule, the first timer rule, to your advantage. And with the pick 6 being my suggested bet, I've only gone in with 2 horses, unless you want to try and double up and be greedy that way, with Secret Chord and King Harry. But Inspector James is all speed on pedigree. When you look at that, What a Winter out of a sale from Seattle Mare, and the siblings are speed. 1,000 meters Turffontein, a fast track Winter drawn towards the outside. There are a few light bulbs that go off when it comes to number 9, Inspector James. So would be no surprise to see him win. Would we learn a lot about him? Probably not. But if he didn't win, then he's probably the type of horse that you can probably carry through the maidens until he wins, until we get a good indication of exactly where he stands. As far as the pick 6 is concerned, and I wouldn't write off number 9, Inspector James, by the way, especially if there is any support for him. But as far as the pick 6 is concerned, number 1, Secret Chord, will have his obvious vulnerabilities, being off 147 days and being a non-start maiden. But St. John Grey's having a good run this winter with Muzieni doing a lot of the hard work for St. John. I don't think Secret Chord's all that bad. It might sound like a little bit of a loaded statement, the fact that he's a non-start maiden. He's running some weak fields and some good ones, but running some weak fields and not won. he's always given me the impression that there's something there, whether it was time, whether it was just a few equipment changes, whatever the case may have been. But I think there are wins to come at some stage with number 1, Secret Chord, despite, like I said, his vulnerabilities in this event. And number 5, King Harry, his first run back from a break wasn't all that bad. He was off for a very long time, for 9 months, from his first run to his second run. I think he'll step forward with that last run under the belt. Ordinarily, if this race was a little bit stronger, I probably wouldn't include number 5, King Harry. But I think with this field probably not quite being of a maiden level, that there could be Grade 1 winners and computer form sprint winners and Cape Flying Championship winners to come, it might be an opportunity for number 5, King Harry, to step up and go quite close.
Yeah, it does seem to be an awfully weak field to get the Pick 6 underway, and all eyes will be on the first timer once again. Number 9, Inspector James. Race number 5 next up. 1440 is the off time. 1,000 meters. It's an MR96 handicap. And race 5 will be the start of Jackpot 1. Chayavana is the favorite at 12-10. Karangatang at 5-2. Rainbow Reward at 7-2. Dr. Faustus at 7-1. So Johan has got the top 4 in the market here. 1, 2, 5, 4 in that order. But Chayavana, Gavin Larina aboard. Drop in trip is a concern for me, Alistair, and I prefer Karangatang.
I think watch the scratchings in this race, Raheel. I think that could be the way to go. Obviously, stable jockey Gavin Larina's had the choice of rides. He's gone with number 1, Chayavana. I actually think there's an element of Gavin recommending going back to 1,000 metres with Chayavana as well. I hear what you're saying. He hasn't exactly got the running style of being blisteringly quick and falling in a heap over 1160 and 1,200 metres. He does do his best work late. But I think from the inside draw, the opportunity is drop him in, give him something to aim at with all the pace in this race, and he'll be doing his best work at the end. The key race is obviously the run on the 13th of July, where he finished in front of Rainbow Reward, Roll with the Punches, and Super Awesome. He's got a valuable advantage at the weights, where I think he will do the job. You know, he's related to only sprinters on the mare side. Cosmic Light, obviously Cosmic Speed, Cosmic Highway, that family. That's all speed. I mean, I'm not saying Cosmic Speed is isolated to being a sprinter. We'll learn a lot more on Sunday, where he would right now be my top choice to win the Premier's Champions Days. But with that said, Cosmic Speed is not a horse that's going to get 2,000 metres, and the rest of the family all absolute speedballs. So I think this might be the right time to try. I think there's a lot in his favour. What else is interesting to me is that it's his first run in a handicap in quite a while. I think that could be key for him, being in the right place at the right time, and I just like his chances. So I've banked him in just trusting the fact that Gavin Larina has chosen the right one.
Yeah, that's number 1, Chayavana, 12-10 in the market. Moving along to race number 6, this is the start of Jackpot 2. It's an MR80 handicap over 1,000 meters, and 3:15 is the off time. Your favorite in race 6 is horse number 4, Lovegrass, at 28-10. 33-10, Longsword, 4-1, Water Tiger, 5-1, Munchkin, Kinchin Shah at 6-1, and then it's double figure odds about the balance. Who's your fancy in race number 6?
Well, I'm not going to spend too much time on this race for Hill. I've gone field in the Pick 6, one of 2 legs where I've gone field. My top choice in this race is just number 3, Longsword. You kind of wonder how much chipping away, you know, even if he doesn't win, just in terms of stakes, if Longsword ran 3rd and picks up 8,500 Rand to Sean Terry's stakes tally, how much that's going to impact, because we're going to come down to Sunday. Whatever happens, we're going to come down to Sunday, and it's going to be all to play for, especially with Sean. No matter what happens in the days leading up, Sean's going to have a deficit to make up. But with his bomb runners he's got on Sunday, you wonder how influential 8,500 Rand is going to be if Longsword doesn't win, which I think he might. But if he does run 3rd, type of thing, how much of a difference that's going to make. I think it's going to make a huge difference. Probably going to come down to as much as rands and cents right at the end. He's my top choice. Trent Mayhew takes a ride fresh off a winner at the Val on Thursday. I think he's had 2 winners this week as well. Has Trent? Longsword's just turned the corner over the last little bit since coming back to the sprints. Lovely big son of William Longsword with a lovely stride. So he's got all those attributes. I think it's just taken him a long time to figure life out and what he needed to do. So he's my top choice. Wouldn't go mad. I think that it's difficult to rule out any. I think Lucky Hidalakis' 2 horses have chances with narrow preference for Munchkin. One of my old favourites, Stormy Seas, always gets a mention. Bob is probably not far away from winning. That's why I've gone field, because there's so many other chances. But in a corner, gun to my head, it would be number 3 Longsword, but please don't pull the trigger.
Yeah, it's a field of 10 runners, and it is a race that can produce a bit of a result. And Alistair's favourite horse, number 6, Stormy Seas, the horse that he's found right on a couple of occasions, could just be the type of runner that produces a result for you in race number 6. And having a look, 20-1. It's a type of price that he seems to come good at when he's an outsider. So he's definitely a runner that could be worth an inclusion here, especially with his form of a track and trip. Moving along to race number 7 next. Conditions played for fillies and mares over 1100 meters, 15:50 the off time. And your favorite is Time for Orchards at 9-10. 3-1 Elegant Ice, 4-1 Troppo Veloce, 7-1 and Better Bar those. Now, Time for Orchards she ran a screamer in the South African filly sprint, went 4th behind October Morn. That was over 1200 meters. She's back down in trip. She's a filly that comes into the race not the best weighted because she's got 2 and 4 ahead of her. But she's come good ever since joining Johan Janssen van Vuren, and she has seemed to enjoy the Highveld tracks. And can she bounce back to winning ways?
I think just going to the best weighted column, I think it's a little bit skewed in this race, Raheel, because this is a conditions plate with slightly different conditions attached to the program. The horses have been weighted in terms of number of wins, which you will notice as you go down the page. So Time for Orchids, 5-time winner, 60 kilos. Troppo Veloce, 4-time winner, 57 kilos. Exchange Student, 3-time winner, 56 kilos. And then the 2-time winners carry 54 kilos. So it's not rating based that these horses have been weighted in this race. It's in terms of wins and performance from that perspective. So the best weighted column for this race, and I always respect the best weighted column, and I think all punters should, but in this particular race, maybe turn a blind eye to it. I think Time for Orchids is a very, very, very hard horse to beat. Her run in the Camellia was excellent behind Mrs. Browning. I know Mrs. Browning beat her again in the Weekend Witness South African filly sprint with October Morn coming out on top. That run from Time for Orchids is underappreciated. The ground that she made up from quite a long way back and having to clear horses and get a little bit of luck in running. She ought to have finished maybe a little bit closer. She never wins the race. She probably doesn't finish in front of Mrs. Browning, who went very close as well. But she's just got the class. She's got the feature race experience. I know that she's obviously got the weight as a result. She's got an outside draw. She's won from one over this distance as well, for whatever that's worth, although that was quite a long time ago. And just the fact that she's feature race tested and performed at that feature race level. I think one of the better bets of the weekend is Time for Orchids.
9-10, the price about Time for Orchids, one of the better bets on the weekend, as you heard from Alistair Cohen, and she could be a filly that you include in your all-to-comes. Race number 8, Pinnacle Stakes over 1400 meters, and Main Defender is back in action, I see. He's priced up as the red hot favourite at 56-100. Unzen at 4-1, 6-1 Tail of the Comet, and then it's 8-1 and Better Bar those. And it's interesting that Main Defender is running again. I would have thought that perhaps after he's running the Gold Challenge, that would be his season done. But he returns. He's a 7-time winner, unbeaten over track and trip. Muzieni takes a ride. That's very interesting, Alistair. No Calvin Abib riding.
Yeah, that is a bit of a strange one. All of it is strange, really, Raheel. I think you've set me up here. I believe that one of the owners wanted to change jockeys, and Muzieni is the man that's got the call-up. And you're right. What is this Pinnacle Stakes? When you look at a Pinnacle Stakes in the program, at certain times of the year, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you see a Pinnacle Stakes in the program September, October in Cape Town, if you see a Pinnacle Stakes in the program April, May in Durban, if you see a Pinnacle Stakes in the program sort of October, November in Joburg, you know that it's going to be a hot field, and you also know that it's going to be a prep run, there's going to be meat on the bone. Now, this is a very, very interesting Pinnacle Stakes. We've got an excellent field. We've got a 2-time Charity Mile winner. We've got a Grand Heritage winner. We've got the unbelievable talent and probably enigmatic Tail of the Comet in here as well. But what is Main Defender prepping for? What is he doing? He's coming in for a Pinnacle Stakes. And what's the next step? The Joburg Spring Challenge in October. So he's obviously doing very well at home. You know exactly what Tony Peter's going to say when pressed. The horse is doing so well, the race is there, why must he sit in the box? Well, I mean, if Main Defender was mine, I'd say absolutely right. Get him out there, let's get a few extra stakes, let's get his fans all going and what have you. So from that point of view, yes, it makes a lot of sense, but you know, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, this run. He should win. He's the best horse in the race. He's a grade 1 winner at weight for age level when beating Dave the King, who franked that form in the Hollywoodbets Gold Challenge. I know that was on a muddy track, but he made up a lot of ground. There was no one else in the race who made up any ground. There were horses that were paddling over the closing stages. He's shown his worth time and time again. He's unbeaten over the course and distance. He's unbeaten over this distance. He's unbeaten on the stand-side track. There's just every reason to like number one Main Defender. He's not far off the best 3-year-old colts in the country. You'd probably make the argument, yeah, Green with Envy, Purple Picture, Oriental Charm, obviously, but Lucky Lad, they might be better horses, but he's certainly not far away if he's not better as number one Main Defender, and he should win this race with 62 kilos on his back. 2 Bingwa, if you are looking for an alternative, it probably is Bingwa, only because he's a 2-time charity mile winner. He's always sort of gone under the radar. He's a good, solid, sound horse. I believe that they're going for another tilt at the Allard Steel Road on a mission mile with number 2 Bingwa, but again, this Pinnacle Stakes are just kind of rocked up and Bingo is there, but you can make that argument for all the horses. Main Defender should win. Top choice, banker in the pick 6.
Yeah, 5 to 10, 5.5 to 10. Main Defender, he's going to be a hard horse to beat, race 8. Race number 9, final race on the day, 1600 meters, 3 minutes past 5 is the off time, and your market has got number 9, Shinto Shrine at the top, 5 to 2. Willow Express, 7 to 2. 9 to 2, number 1, Claw. 8 to 1 and Better Baldos. Now, 2 horses I want to touch on here. Number 9, Shinto Shrine, 2-year-old that's taken on older horses. He comes in with 54 kgs on the back, and he could certainly be a lot better than the field that he does meet here. And then the other horse, number 11, Majestic Touch, because I know you were all over him last time out, and he ran 5th behind Romeo's Magic, and I'm sure you would have been disappointed with that run, but they're bringing him back in trip.
I was hoping you weren't going to go down Majestic Touch. I think the first thing I need to set up here is that I've got 3 bankers in the pick 6, 2 horses in the first leg and 2 fields. So I think that's a 220 Rand spend. Field in this race, Majestic Touch is one of the horses that I'm most annoyed with in this country. I'm not ruling him out, because I do think that he can rock up and win at any time. He's half a kilo under sufferance. For me, that's not the biggest disadvantage. I think dropping in distance could be key. I'm not going to have a bet on Majestic Touch until he either wins or goes very, very close to winning. So that's how I read it. If he's going to do me a favor, it's going to be because I've gone field in the pick 6. Shinto Shrine won a decidedly weak maiden last time, beating Deception Pass, but it was a good win from near the back of the field, and I like the way that he turned it on. How will he go on the stand-side track, though? That remains to be seen. His turn of foot obviously served him well on the inside track. Stand-side track, he might have to wait a little bit longer. He's clearly a progressive 2-year-old. He's run to Cosmic Speed and Grand Crescendo, 2 horses that run a grade 1 level just 24 hours later. All of that stacks up well in his favor. Not one to rule off at all. He could be anything in this race. He could win, and he could go totally missing. If I had an each-way bet on this race, it would be on number 3, Celtic Rush, the son of Willow Magic. Rating came down another pound for his run to Real Relief. He's not got a perfect draw, but it's the first time he's actually got an ideal draw. Even though his penultimate start, he was drawn 7 out of 8. He committed and was stuck out deep. He's been deep for quite a while, or in fact in his last 4 runs, where he even yielded a win when beating Flag Bearer. This is obviously slightly harder, but I just think that if he's able to get a reasonable position, he doesn't even have to be on the rail, but just not 3 deep like he has been in his last 3 starts, then he could be the one, number 3, Celtic Rush. He's popped up on my radar quite a bit of late. So he'd be the horse that I recommend if you're looking to make a little bit of extra money, if you are in trouble and you really shouldn't be come race number 9 at Turffontein Standside. If you are, then everyone else I think will be. Then number 3, Celtic Rush, could be the answer from an each-way perspective.
8 to 1 the current price, about number 3, Celtic Rush, and let's see how he goes in race number 9. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now, and Alistair will take us through his suggested bet, a pick 6 for the race meeting on Saturday. And Alistair, take it away with that pick 6.
Yep, starts at 2:05 with race number 4. Pool could be quite good, especially if the rain turns up in Cape Town. We might have a standalone, but the time we're recording is obviously a double header. But 2:05, race 4, 1 and 5 in the first leg. Secret Court and King Harry. Use the first timer rule to your advantage, because I think number 9, Inspector James, won't take much for him to win. Then gone banker number 1, Chayavana, on the trust that Gavin Arena's got that one right. Then gone field in race number 6. There are 10 runners there. By banker 1, Time for Orchids. By banker 1, Main Defender. By field, which is the 11 runners in the final leg.
That is Alistair Cohen's pick 6 for racing on Saturday out at Turffontein, and it all begins with the running of race number 4 at just having a quick look at the off time, 2:05. Alistair, thanks very much. Looking forward to racing on Saturday, and then of course the feature race meeting on Sunday at Hollywoodbets Greyville, which rounds up the 2023-2024 feature season here in South Africa, and lots to play for on Sunday.
Yeah, Equus Awards at stake. I mean, obviously some categories like 2-year-old filly, doesn't matter what Quid Pro Quo does on Sunday, I think she's got that one sealed. Some categories are absolute slam dunks, and good luck to the panel when it comes to Horse of the Year, because there's no right answer with that. There could be a right answer at the end of Sunday if one of a handful of horses win the Champions Cup. But, I'm thankful I'm the MC and not a judge this year, that I must confess.
All the best with racing on Saturday and over the weekend as well. Hopefully you manage to find a few winners along the way and you find yourself on the positive side of things after Sunday.